So web development, LO4, yeah, and like we discussed that no matter if we get any sometimes incorrect schedule, yeah, the invite, then definitely we will be following, the sequence of LOs, yeah, and so hopefully, the next unit I would get back to you after, asking Patrick that do you prefer any unit on your choice next?
No preference. I would, because this one is very technical or is very hands-on. It would be good to do something more academic.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, so that's fine. So can I ask, did you enjoy the 3 LOs and your knowledge before the delivery of those LOs, and after the LOs, anything interesting, or anything new you found?
Yeah. So web development's relatively new to me.
Okay.
So understanding
Yeah.
HTML,
Yeah.
CSS,
Yeah.
JavaScript, that's been very useful. And then understanding the different techniques between server side and client side,
Yeah.
well, and also understanding more about the search engine optimization that we covered towards the end. So that was useful.
Yeah. Yeah. And more interesting thing, and the new era starts is the web services basically, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So where the web, the conventional web stops, yeah, then the concept of service-oriented architecture starts, yeah, and it gives the birth to the technology, of web services. Means a web is a service, yeah. The term of service is basically giving some value, yeah, without owning the ownership of any resource, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So the most important and the little advanced thing is basically the web services. I hope and I wish you all the best to play with the web services, because what I believe that in the current age, yeah, it's not the time for the web developers who develop the standalone or the conventional web client and web services, but they would be asking you to write, so I mean the not only the current web, yeah, but they would be asking you the web services, yeah, and like .NET, VB, the latest books, they are more, focusing on, to promoting this technology, yeah.
Yeah, so just to confirm, so that's more like REST APIs and things.
Yeah. Sorry, the RESTful web services, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so it's about being able to make calls to the website to retrieve data and things.
Yeah, exactly. Automated way. There is also the so other technologies, RPC, remote procedure call. Yeah, and there is RMI in Java, remote method invocation. Yeah, all they basically work on the backend as a distributed computing. Yeah, so the distributed computing is that the client basically is not the conventional client as a browser, yeah, but their client, yeah, of a server is again a kind of server, yeah, because when you say the distributed computing, then the other component or the other party in the network can also work as a the server, or the you say a thick client, a kind of, yeah. So
Yep.
it has the capability to interact more, yeah, with respect to in comparison to like just sending or showing the location on the web browser, but they have more interactivity, more kind of layer, basically the application layer, yeah.
Yep.
So what do you assume? We assume that the when you are using the service oriented architecture, then you are using basically a layered approach, yeah.
Yes.
So in the layered approach, what you expect, you see, let's say that services are in a pool, yeah, and their information is in a pool in the registry, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those services are being discoverable, yeah. Those
Mm-hmm.
services are being accessed via a universally agreeable protocol, which is written in XML, and the name of the protocol is SOAP, yeah, service oriented object protocol, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
uh, no, sorry, the simple object access protocol, yeah. So in this way, what happens, uh, the idea of accessing the web services becomes a kind of the distributed computing, but loosely distributed computing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You understand the word, and the loosely coupled application.
Yes. So that means that it's not a direct. They can still communicate, but they aren't fully integrated together.
They can communicate, they could be integrated, but they may not be coupled tightly. It means they are not bound to use the end application, the same end application. Means, for example, one of the let's say the Emirates website, yeah, it's, let's say, developed in the PHP, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and their database is in, let's say, Oracle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for example, the Sky Scanner, yeah, Sky Scanner is a website, is a search engine, a kind of, or a web service composition, that gives you these capability to search from, the Emirates, the hotels, the other airlines, and they are, the independent system. For example, have you ever tried to use the Sky Scanner?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So even they are fully integrated. Would it be correct to say that because they can communicate exactly as a one system, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. You won't get any a little a little you won't be missing even a little thing from them. Everything, timing, even that Sky Scanner should be able to allow you to book the ticket, yeah, on their own, and using the financial details, and very critically sessions, yeah, the transactions to be executed with the other type of the system, yeah. And but they work as a kind of a composite web service, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was trying to say, that this is the time that the world is looking for to work as a web service, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is more the hot topic of the current hot topic. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And obviously the SEO and the web development and are the itself the for example, if you implemented the service oriented architecture, then again there are some choices. Yeah, that the web services could be built in using the Microsoft platform. The web services could be implemented using the Java or any other technology. Yeah. So let us have a look on the indicative content. They say that be able to review a web-based solution. So reviewing a web-based solution is basically you need to review, you need to assess what you have done into your solution. Yeah. So literally, like in the previous LO, we advised how to construct a web-based solution, like we discussed that how you need to select the technology. For example, let me recap. Yeah, that you have the choices. Yeah, for selecting the technology, and what you need to know, you need to know that what is the purpose of your website, what do you want to put in, how do you want to host. If you remember, that was a phase of the development, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Development and decision on designing the interface, and we discuss those things should be usable and easy to use. We discussed that how you can make your website the uh, good at the search engines. Yeah, and we discuss the strategies and discuss the techniques and type of servers and the technologies that you can use. Yeah.
Yep.
So up to that LO3, if we assume that we have you know studied these technologies, these strategies for the SEO. Yeah, and be able to plan and develop the website very well as per the standard the idea and in systematic way. Now the indicative content and the LO4 is basically you are required to review your solution. Yeah.
Yep.
So unfortunately, we don't have any solution available at the moment, and even we couldn't implement the solution in LO3, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
because it's a kind of study mode which is being assumed that it's being taught, and by the passage of time the learner would be implementing. Yeah, obviously we cannot wait until it is implemented, but definitely the sequence of the delivery of the lecture has to be carried out, and after these understanding of the topics, you can get the benefit, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So review is one thing that evaluates a client server and the site server technology implemented against agreed success criteria. Yeah, I believe that we discussed earlier a lot about the evaluation.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah? So evaluation is basically assessing the whether and how well the solution is working. Yeah, that's basically the evaluation. So we assume that if we did the implementation of the client and server architecture and use the technology, then against the agreed success criteria, the level or area which was the criteria and the level of acceptance should have been evaluated, assessed, and reviewed the acceptance. Yeah, if the acceptance of that evaluation criteria is under certain value, for example, uh, it is achieved like a 7 to 8, like let's say 7 out of 10. Yeah, or maybe 8 out of 10. then that's basically a past evaluation, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Then the second is the justify the e-marketing SEO technique chosen for the web-based solution. So, like we discussed earlier, the strategies, yeah, and the tools to implement the SEO, yeah. So now we have to review it. Whatsoever the SEO techniques have been applied, yeah, we need to justify whether the SEO is going right or not, yeah. And so in next few slides we'll be discussing certain criteria for the evaluation, yeah, and the certain techniques or the some points to consider for the SEO, the uh, SEO justification, yeah. And the third assessment criteria is the proposed improvements to a web solution. So proposition or the advices or any improvement into the web system voluntarily, yeah, voluntarily, and be truthfully is most important thing in research writing, yeah. So you never try to be biased that your software is basically doing very well.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have been like when we write some articles, research papers, and when we submit the I'm trying to share with you the way how the research articles are published basically. So when we write the research paper, we give the background of the existing work done. We propose the our ideology, our methods for improving the particular uh, scenario where the problem exists, and finally we try to evaluate, yeah, that how much we could have achieved it, yeah, and any improvements needs to be done must have been voluntarily mentioned. If we didn't mention, then it means a criteria of accepting the research paper, they hardly trust on it.
Yep.
Yeah. Unless you have got lots of results attached with the document. Yeah. If you are providing, let's say, the number of testings, yeah, reports, yeah, and then for each and every user input, yeah, and then you could claim that okay, this result is 100% good, blah blah blah, but it's only possible in mathematics, yeah, that you could say either prove or not prove, yeah, but volunteer the improvements is also encourageable. Yeah, so 3 points: evaluation, justification of SEO, and improvement. So let us go ahead with them. uh, so overall I tried to evaluate the, let's say, to include the topic which could evaluate the web server, the client, the a web service, yeah, technologies, architectures. So it could be a little bit a very specific, and it was not possible to discuss each and everything or evaluation independently in this unit, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So I tried to find a good source of information, let's say the technology evaluation criteria. So what criteria you need to select, yeah, you need to ask the questions, yeah, so that you could evaluate if it is a web server, if it is the client, if it is the tier or architecture, if it is the framework, yeah, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So let's say one by one, there are more, maybe 10, 20, the suggestions. So let us discuss on them, and then we'll be discussing some of the points for SEO success. Yeah, because the SEO success and the criteria is a kind of approach. Yeah, is a different approach, and evaluating a technology or a solution is little bit different thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, because technology solution is a programming. However, SEO is a kind of the optimization. It is not measurable basically. The SEO, you cannot measure the SEO, but you can always see the improvements that for the efforts you are trying in the SEO. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so two concepts. Yeah, when you really want to evaluate a technology or a solution, you can set up certain criteria. Yeah, but for the SEO you cannot evaluate. Indeed, you cannot review your strategy, but you can only see if there is any improvement in the ranking and the searching and the results. Then you are able to review your strategy, only. Yeah, got it.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, two things. So number one point is that is the technology's API stable? Yeah, so you would be asking the question. Yeah, if you want to introduce, if you want to use the technology, for example, if you are using the API is the application programming interface. Yeah, for
Mhm.
example, you implemented the server, and the server technology is basically, let's say, any new or the less known. For example, if it is a freeware, yeah, then you should ask the question that is their API stable. So stability of the API, makes you problem when you sometimes need to update the system. Yeah, then it makes you a problem, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so what happens, sometimes you need to upgrade all, sometimes you need to upgrade partial, sometimes you ignore the upgrades, because you you think that if you would upgrade it, then your system can can be down for some time. Our system
Yeah.
functionality can be abrupted, disturbed, at all. Sometimes the websites become down, and they become totally unuseful. Have you ever got the chance?
Yes. Yeah. I've experienced that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's because of the stability of the APIs. Yeah, so what happens, sometime like the WordPress, yeah, most of the websites, when you try to upgrade the versions and then the whole websites go down, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to consider about the stability of the API, and then you would be you know confirm. Like if you might have got the chance to work with the Linux. Yeah,
Yep.
the
Yep.
operating system is much more powerful. It's kernels, and even they don't need the uh, antiviruses. Yeah,
That's
sometimes.
right.
Yeah, so you see, there is no any problem in those servers for the updates, and uh, restarting the servers. That is the reason the most of the servers are implemented into the Linux, isn't it?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. Next is, how much would it cost to keep up with any changes? Obviously, if the changes have to be done, yeah, into the system, into the server, will it cost you? Maybe, may not be. If your company is, let's say it's a downtime is a night, yeah, then probably you will be okay. But if your customers are worldwide, yeah, and if they are affected, then it would cost you losing let's say 5 or 10% clients, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So your technology, yeah, even for example, whatever the solution you provided, then if you want to make any changes into your solution, then if it costs you, then it's good. Sorry, it's not good. But if
Yes.
it is costing you less, then you would be okay with this. So it's a kind of evaluation criteria. Yeah, you are going to assess your solution on the basis that at the time of the changes, yeah, changing any code or anything, would really be, not costing you. For example, like I said earlier, that YouTube is introducing the Creator Studio, their environment since last couple of 6 months, yeah, and their user interface, their change, definitely is, appealing and forcefully change. But when we try to come to the Classic Studio, then it doesn't cost. YouTube doesn't affect the usage, the advertisements, and the revenue monetization, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is their API, it is their application programming interface that even if they change the code, yeah, very good point. Like the Facebook we have been using, yeah, we have
Hmm.
been using the Facebook since years, and Facebook is bringing lots of changes, yeah, into their algorithms, into their the way we comment, the way we give the status, and way we share the things, yeah. We
Hmm.
have been doing this, we have been using unaffected, isn't it?
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
But do you think that it is the system that we have, it has only come through certain, only few changes? No, they have been doing the changes, on daily basis. Yeah, that,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and they have been trying to improve the things, day by day. But it really doesn't affect the user at all. It doesn't cost them anything, affected. Yeah.
That's right.
So your
Yeah.
solution should also be, should also have that kind of capability. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Or major pieces still being added or removed. Yeah. So sometimes, uh, the code, yeah, that you have used, sometimes useful, sometimes not useful. If you want to remove it, if you want to add any additional code, yeah, then would you suffer from it or not? That's
Hmm.
also the question. Yeah. So if your program, if the algorithm, the neatness of your program, modules, yeah, the methods, the classes, whether they allow you to add or remove the things easily, that's basically the evaluation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Then if you had to train a team of developers to use this technology within 2 weeks, could you do so easily? So for example, if you got the implementation, and if you want to train the developers, if you want to train the users, yeah, so is it easy? Maybe, may not be, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
How much do developers uh, uh, who know this technology cost to hire compared to the current developers? So obviously, whichever the solution you gave, yeah, and if your current developers, yeah, basically we are not talking the within the scope of scope that you would be providing, let's say, uh, the solution for your assignment, but we are assuming that your solution is for the company, yeah, in the
Yeah.
assignment sheet, yeah. And obviously, if you try to fit this question, yeah, into your assignment, then this can really be the genuine question, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
If we assume that the scenario given in the assignment is a genuine scenario, yeah, then this is definitely, a concern that your solution may be depending on the, the work done by a team, yeah, team of developers. So you are saying that you want to implement in a particular technology, and if the current developers don't know the technology, yeah, so what you will be deciding, whether you would be, you know, using still the new technology or not, isn't it?
That's right, yes.
If there is a healthy amount of third-party libraries and tools available for this technology, yeah. So the third-party, you know, uh, libraries, like, you know, that if you want to integrate, you know, additional modules, additional, you know, uh, things, are they available or not? Yeah. So
Yeah.
for example, if you are using the Java, yeah, then the Java has got a plenty of support for, you know, the third party libraries. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know, writing a Java program, yeah, you can execute the C program in the Java. Make sense?
Yep. Yep.
For example, you know, the cars in UK, yeah, and even, you know, the German cars like Volkswagen, Skoda, and, you know, all their those, and the Audi, yeah, uh, all these cars are from the one, you know, company, isn't, you know about it?
Y- yes, yeah. In terms of manufacturing, yes.
Yeah, manufacturing wise, all they come from, you know, one, you know, manufacturer, and what they do, you know, they just change the interfaces, yeah. So even for example, the screen, the LCDs, you know, the uh, is being developed as a one software, yeah, and it's being, you know, it's only the name, you know, that this is Skoda screen, this is the Audi screen, this is the, you know, Volkswagen, yeah. They only change the names. So how they are being operated, they are being supported by the third party, you know, involvement as well, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So how is there a healthy amount of third party libraries and tools available for this technology? Yeah. So for example, if you say that you are buying Skoda, then will you be able to get any their parts? For example, yeah. In the same way, your computer solution, yeah, your computer solution, you know, is specific to a web, let's say, connecting with the Oracle, yeah. And when it comes to connect with the, you know, other database, yeah, let's say SQL server, yeah, then
Mm-hmm.
obviously it should have support for the third party drivers and, you know, the other systems, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Is there is a healthy amount of tutorials and written content available? Yeah. Is the technology's ecosystem growing or shrinking? So ecosystem is the network, basically the system for integrating the system, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you are using, is it growing, is it popular, yeah, or it is shrinking? So for example, some of the technologies, you know, are getting obsolete and the new things are coming, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
So there's a question you could ask from yourself for your solution. If you want to evaluate your solution, yeah, that is it whatever the technology, whatever the solution you use, is it growing or shrinking? Yeah. Then is the language the technology is based on widely used and growing in popularity? Yeah. Should I go ahead if the points are, you know, easy to understand?
Yeah, no, these are fine, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is the technology backed by the significant sponsors? Yeah. So
Yep.
sponsors, in a sense that you know, some of the technologies are basically the open sources. Yeah.
Yeah, like Red Hat.
Yeah. Yeah. But obviously, it's a big community behind it. Yeah.
Yep.
And you know, even if they say that it's a free source, yeah, but they have been spending a lot on it. Yeah, the projects, you know. But some of, for example, if you can get uh, freeware, yeah, then only the researchers would be behind it and nobody would be sponsor behind it, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, and for example, if there is a kind of software and there is a company behind, yeah, let's say Adobe, yeah, then what maximum support you can expect? Would you be expecting a kind of a big company or a free source?
Big company.
Big company, yeah. So you need to think about it, that your technology is it backed by a significant sponsor? Is the language technology is based and on backed by the significant sponsor as well? Yeah,
Yep.
that's really good question, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
because
because Ubuntu is quite a large commercial enterprise that support free 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 Linux, for example.
yeah, yeah. So depends on the budget, and if you have a budget, then you will be able to buy the sponsored a commercial application, and if not, then obviously you will have no choice for going the free sources, isn't it?
Yep.
Does your company have the skills to utilize the technology? Yeah.
Yep.
Is an expert in the technology available? Yeah. So because you're working as a developer, and the if there exists the experts in the area, then it's good. If there are no experts and you are providing the poor solution, it means your system is not good, and via your assessment you should avoid it, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah? We are basically discussing the evaluation criteria. So these things basically needs to be considered if you want to genuinely assess it, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Does the technology play nicely with the existing technology in the use with your organization? Yeah.
Yep.
So existing technologies is, you know, uh, basically, for example, your old computers were capable to, you know, run only the Windows 7 based applications. Yeah. And the Windows 10 is much more, better than the Windows 7. Yeah. So trying to, the deployment, yeah, the deploying the new windows, the changes, can that your solution, yeah, be nicely fit in with or not? We fit within or not, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Does the technology meet the organization's current and the future needs? Yeah. Does the technology offer a significant advantage over current usage technologies? Yeah. So it shouldn't be the case that you propose a new technology, yeah, and it does not offer a significant change over the conventional or the current use. Then if there is no significant change, then you don't try to adopt it. Make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, you would be in troubles for introducing the new technology, and even you won't be able to bring a new value, and even instead of bringing a new value, but even you would destroy your existing system usage, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So, like, you can do the mistake if you try to offer your boss, yeah, and getting it upgraded to, let's say, anything else, and there isn't a significant change, yeah, then you are doing the wrong decision, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. Few more are currently used technologies being fully leveraged or utilized. Yeah, you need to look at, yeah, instead of introducing the new change, you try to fully utilize, yeah, you try to fully use the you try to fully leverage the existing system, and then think about the any change, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Does the technology have any fees or cost associated with it? Obviously, If it is a freeware, then no cost, and if it is a commercial, then you need to pay. Can the organization afford to pay these fees or cost? Yeah, these are really good questions, isn't it? Even if you, for example, for the assignment purpose, yeah, you created the, your solution, let's say in the WEM server, which uses the Windows and Apache server, and you can say that it's a free, isn't it? Yeah. But if you use any commercial, the server, let's say like a WebLogic, and use the Microsoft Access, then even if, for example, you have the expertise in those commercial softwares, then you need to clearly mention into your write-up that it would cost you that much as compared to the free source, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
So bear in mind that these points needs to be done, truthfully. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does using the technology lock the organization in to that technology's ecosystem? Yeah. So obviously, you need to be aware that you need, is your technology flexible or not? Yeah, it shouldn't be the case that after introducing your technology, you would be locked and you will not have choice to, move to any other technology or bringing any partial changes, and that really matters, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. For example, you spend millions of pounds on a software, yeah, and even that the software is not useful at all, yeah, not usable, but unfortunately you cannot change it for 15 20 years, because you have spent your budget of 20 years, now, and you are locked in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these decisions, matters. How easy is to change away from the technology? Will you be able to change? How easy is to change existing systems to use the new technology? How much customization is required to make the technology work for your current and future needs? Can your technology be used for production use? Does the technology rely on other technology being present? Can you easily change behavior of the technology based on the target or environment? Can the technology be deployed in the way you need to be deployed? Does the technology require changes to the other technologies in the use? Does the technology have any competitors? Yeah. Does the decision to use a technology need to be made now? Is the technology secure? Is the technology usable? Is the technology performant? Is the technology maintainable? Is the technology being updated? Yeah. So it's very easy to say, yeah, this is good system and this is bad system, isn't it? Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah. Probably, the new system came in, yeah, and you were stuck at some point and you said, oh, this is useless system, isn't it? For example. But when you we were asked the questions like these 30-35 questions, yeah, and if you could rate those questions on a a scale basis, yeah, and then you try to give a review, yeah, you must have seen the reviews of the hotels when they say 8, 8.7, above 8, they are good hotels, isn't it? Yeah. And
Yeah.
obviously they are never 10, yeah, never 10, but even like those 8, 7.9, 7.8, we still consider them as a good, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah. So how you can generate that rating? How you can generate the rating of the review? Probably you can write down the values on the basis of these questions. Yeah. And the more the points they qualify for the review, the more overall evaluation score would be in front of you. Yeah. So it was about the evaluation of solution. So is it okay? Is it sufficient? The idea, for evaluating the technology, even if it is, if you talk specifically, yeah, would you be okay with this?
Yeah. I would be. It's interesting because as I was sitting listening to all these questions, I was wondering why the organisation I work for doesn't do the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very useful.
Yeah, useful. And even the next level of evaluation is basically it's a kind of general. The more you will be, let's say trying to evaluate only the web server, yeah, for example, yeah, then the web server will have, the more comparison of its internal factors, yeah, the technological factors. But generally, yeah, these things will help you to evaluate an overall solution, because we are concerned here to evaluate the overall. Yeah. And furthermore, when you would be doing any specialized study, yeah, then these 30 questions would be only asked on a particular one thing, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So it was about the evaluation of the technology in a sense, uh, as a solution. And next is the tracking SEO performance. So we want to review now with the SEO approach. Yeah. So we discussed earlier the strategies and certain tools and techniques that we can apply in order to search engine optimization. Yeah, in order to optimize your website search engine friendly. Yeah, do you remember
Yeah.
we discussed? Yeah. Now, how we can evaluate, how we can review the performance of your SEO is, so let us look at some of the points that start with the end in the mind. Yeah. So you should have some goal that if you did your solution, yeah, and you provided the solution, then after your solution you evaluated it, and then you applied the SEO. Yeah, these are the requirements given in the assessment criteria. Yeah. And when you applied the SEO, then how you would review? So you need to basically, like I said, that you cannot measure the SEO performance. Yeah, it is not measurable, but you can see the improvements. So what improvement is that, for example, your website is not giving you the revenue, it is not being discovered on the search engine in the few of the pages. Yeah. And what is in your mind? Yeah, you start with the end in the mind, that where exactly you want your website. That's one thing. Next is the engagement metrics, that how you want your website, yeah, and the engagement by the users. So you can always discuss about the conversion rate. So conversion rate is basically the, for example, you launch the website, yeah, and you try to advertise your website to, let's say, 2000 people. Okay, in any ways, maybe let's say through the Google AdWords, yeah, or you posted your website somewhere, then how many viewers became the customer? Yeah, did you get it? Have you heard about the conversion rate word?
Yes.
Yeah. So the conversion rate is that how much you are making the clients from the users, from the viewers of your website. Then the time on the page. So the more interesting stuff is on your time is on your page or website, it would give you an idea, because we are talking about the engagement matrices, isn't it?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. Google is very intelligent, yeah, and the way they give you the advertise, yeah, and they can know exactly that how much time the users spend on their click, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Then pages per visit, they should also be able to new, for example, uh, the Google AdWords, when people show the Google advertisements on their websites, on the banner, on the side, in the bottom, did you know that it was a kind of earning, and it is also a earning as well?
Yes.
Yeah, like people created the website design articles, or how the stuff work, for example. Yeah, have you seen the how the stuff work?
Yeah, so this is where they redirect to web pages and things.
Yeah, so like they put blogs for everything, and what is the reason behind, they basically show the advertisement to users. Yeah, and Google would pay them when somebody would click them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the pages per visit is basically when you launched a website, you integrated the Google advertisements. Yeah, and for example, the people are really interested in your website, then they would be going through the site map, yeah, and internal pages of the website, yeah. Then your SEO, yeah, would be able to know that if the pages per visit are increasing or decreasing. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
the same way bounce rate is, even if you market it, if you did the you tried to reach your website to the users, then how many users seen and tried to browse your website, and probably the bounce rate should have been reduced instead of increasing, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Scrolling depth, how many scrolling or screens the users you know scroll your website, sometimes they open it and close it. Then search traffic, yeah, that how many people are searching your specific website on the Google, it matters. Yeah, and you can further explore using the Google Analytics to uncover the traffic insights as well, that exactly, even if you had got the chance to create a YouTube channel, yeah, then in the YouTube channel you would be given all the information and all the demographics, all the people, audience, and everything. You would be able to see the insight into the traffic, that who is using, from which devices they are using, and how you need to optimize it, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
So further, there is a link. You can read this article and the more detail about these points about the SEO. And this is not only the one idea, but there may be much more things by the passage of time, because like I said, that SEO is a kind of a web thing, and the web is always expanding, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So none of the source or material for the study has become the textbook, so that we could refer and use, into this uh, module. But we can at least, for the short time, we can refer this, material. Yeah.
Yep.
So one more thing, I sent you the books. Did you, get it and found useful?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you for sending them. I can't remember if I replied, but yes, they were good and I've saved them. I've just not had a chance yet to read
Yeah.
through.
Yeah, but definitely, maybe now or later on, yeah, they can always be used as a textbook, yeah, and but unfortunately, I won't be able to suggest only one book. The reason that this web thing, yeah, is expanding ever, the ideas and the books and even the day by day the updated material is being published on the web pages and the articles and the blogs, yeah. So always
Yeah,
keep on looking, the existing idea, yeah, and it's, let's say, for example, service oriented architecture, yeah. This has been introduced years ago, yeah, but everything is based on this, like cloud computing, the internet of things, the utility computing, and everything is coming from the same ideas, yeah.
yeah.
So LO4 is complete, yeah. You go through everything, and if you have any questions, then you are most welcome via email, or we can still discuss in the next session as well.
Yeah, that's fine. So on this one, um, because I'm there's a lot of learning in this for me.
Yeah.
I'll probably won't submit the assignment for maybe a month or so.
1 second.